Hey there, Matt Hamilton, author of Through Travel and Error, Confessions of an Asylum-Seeking Canadian. Welcome back to my online readings. This week is chapter 18 called Shit Happens. One of the things I used to do and love before I began my travels was watch TV. I thought I was quite tuned in to the world of celebrities, who was sleeping with who, what the gossip was. I knew it all. But then I began my travels and I never watched TV. Never. And this story is about me one night in Cinsa on a quiet night where I actually decided to flick on the tube and see what was going on in the world. And I was extremely surprised to see somebody I knew from Ottawa on quite a popular TV show. And this individual's name was Tom Green. Now, Tom Green was a bit of a, we call him a local celebrity in Ottawa. He had this cable talk show where he behaved like an absolute goof. So seeing him on this other talk show was quite surprising. I mean, I guess, you know, what's he doing in this popular segment? Anyways, as my mind is getting around that, something else happens, and this is where we'll begin the story. I hope you enjoy. It's called Shit Happens. Then, as if my mind didn't have enough to contemplate, something happened that completely sent me off the rails of sanity. Talk Soup returned from commercial and proceeded to its next clip, which so happened to be a segment from the Tom Green Show. My eyes didn't bulge because Talk Soup was aware that the Tom Green Show existed, although that oddity did create a moment of puzzlement, for the Tom Green Show, as far as I was aware, was only broadcast in the Ottawa area. No, that wasn't the mystery that spun me out. It wasn't what Tom was doing or saying either. What set my marbles rolling was with whom he was being his idiotic self. For those of you who don't know, the Tom Green Show was essentially a program packed with clips of Tom behaving like a fool. He would hit the streets with a video camera and confront random bystanders with one of his many absurd questions or acts. Two of his biggest targets were his own parents. He had no shame or respect for their privacy or property. For example, his folks would go away for the weekend and Tom would do something stupid, like paint the exterior of their house the colors of a rainbow, or fill the living room with popcorn. He would then film Mom and Dad's honest, genuine reaction the moment they stepped out of the station wagon, fresh from a weekend at the lake. Worse still, he and a cameraman would storm into his parents' bedroom at some god-awful hour in the morning and wake them from their tranquil slumber with a host of idiotic schemes and questions. This invasion of privacy was pathetically done in the name of not-so-funny television. The clip of his show that I was watching happened to be one of those bust in on his sleeping parents acts. He wanted to show his guest a quilt that his mom had made. Earlier, while out prowling the freezing winter streets of Ottawa with Tom, his guest had answered his ridiculous question of whether she liked quilts with a yes. The two of them then barged in on a peacefully sleeping Mom and Dad Green at 4 in the morning. After waking them, Tom demanded that his guest be shown the quilt. You want to know who his guest was? Monica Lewinsky. Cigars, Clinton, the stained dress, yeah, that Monica. My head was so disoriented that I thought I might have been having an acid flashback from my experimental university days. Hallucinating made more sense than Tom Green and Monica Lewinsky, one of the most infamous and media-hounded women on the planet, hanging out in Tom Green's parents' bedroom. This had to be a figment of my imagination. Monica Lewinsky, there was no fucking way. If my memory served me correctly, practically every news organization on the planet would have paid top dollar to get an interview with her. Everybody wanted a piece of Monica. Everybody knew her name. If you looked up infamous in the dictionary, you would see a picture of her. It was this global notoriety that made it impossible to understand why she would be chilling with Tom Green in his parents' bedroom at 4 in the morning and looking at a homemade quilt of all ridiculous things. Was there any doubt in my mind that I was looking at the real Monica? Any uncertainties were removed by the reaction of Mom and Dad Green. Normally, when Tom disrupts their sleep, they respond with anger, aggravation, and frustration. Typically, they would roll over and shield themselves from the prying eye of the camera. They usually scream something along the lines of, "Get the hell out, Tom, it's 4 in the goddamn morning. This is the last time you try a stunt like this. I don't care if it's for your show. Enough is enough." That would be their normal response. But on this occasion, here were Mom and Pop Green patting down their hair with fluttery hands, smoothing their rumpled linen, modestly adjusting their night attire, and rearranging their stunned faces into welcoming smiles as they politely introduced themselves and said how pleased they were to meet her. It was celebrity ass-kissing at its finest. It had to be the real Monica. Forget the Dennis Miller Show quandary. What was Tom Green doing with Monica Lewinsky? Showing her a quilt for a sketch in his rinky-dink, not even that funny talk show? I didn't buy it for a second. I needed to get in touch with Nikki. Nikki was an ex-girlfriend from high school with whom I continued to stay in touch after university. She was also Tom Green's first love, and they too maintained an excellent relationship after their breakup. If anybody could clarify whether these unbelievable events involving Tom were real or hallucination, it would be Nikki. Nikki confirmed the unbelievable but true. Tom had been on TV with Monica Lewinsky. However, she had a lot more to say about the Tom situation. She said that Tom had become rather ambitious and had sent tapes of his show to the big networks in the States, hoping that one might see the humor and originality of his program and decide to pick it up. Guess what? One did. Incredibly, it wasn't even a small network. MTV, the nation's music station, saw a potential winner in the Tom Green Show and picked it up as their late-night programming. This time slot, once occupied by programs such as Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead, was designed to appease the stoned and simple. Guess what? The show became an instant hit. Actually, it became an instant phenomenon. And amazingly, so did Tom. Tom became so popular that Pepsi signed him on to be the spokesman for their extremely expensive Super Bowl commercial time slot. It's estimated that over 1 billion people worldwide watched that Super Bowl. Therefore, an estimated 1 billion people worldwide watched Tom Green endorse a soft drink. It was more disturbing to think that 1 billion people had been subjected to Tom's lunacy. What happened next to Tom was even more difficult for me to accept. Apparently, one of those billion faces watching Tom behave like a tit took quite a fancy to him, and through her influences and connections, she arranged to meet, in her words, the funniest man on the planet. Guess what? They hit it off. Guess what? They hit it off so much they got married. You want to know who the woman was? Drew Barrymore. Now, Drew Barrymore's on my top 5 list, alright? So, I hope you can understand how much my head was spinning. And then, to be honest, I didn't even believe Nikki when she told me. I was still wondering if this was an old acid flashback lingering. A few weeks later, though, I went to the movies, and while I'm sitting there waiting for the show to start, watching the trailers, Tom Green's face appears promoting his new movie, Road Trip. So any doubt was immediately removed. And I think I was struck with a very important lesson about how even though I'm traveling, experiencing all these new things, even though I thought the people at home weren't going to change, they were changing. I used to say things changed, but I don't think I ever really believed that they did. At least I didn't think that they could change for all those still living in Canada. I assumed that because I had left a stagnant and predictable life behind, it would remain stationary in my absence. I thought that because I was encountering so many new experiences that it would be impossible for anyone from home to change on pace with me. I was wrong. I started to see the velvet rut with new eyes. People do change. Life does move on. Tom Green is quite an extraordinary example, but his story made me appreciate that my friends and family were also moving on in my absence. They had new careers and were climbing the corporate ladders. They had new girlfriends. Some were getting married. Some were having children. Buddies were buying homes and building their portfolios. And the list of changes went on, and it wasn't going to stop. You know, and I kind of liked that thought, and it kind of motivated me to continue on with my travels. Anyways, if you like that little segment of Shit Happens, please visit my website, madmaddiesworld.com, to find out more about myself and or the book, Through Travel and Error, Confessions of an Asylum-Seeking Canadian. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.